AppCert DLLs are a really interesting feature of Windows. So AppCert DLLs are loaded during the first call of any of the Win32 functions which are responsible for creating processes. And these are create process as a user, create process with logon, and create process with token. So if any one of these four functions are called, then special type of key is read from the registry which is called AppCert DLLs, and any DLL listed in that key will get loaded into a newly created process. Okay, so let me first show you where it lives. So let's go to registry editor, and we can go to local machine, system, current control set, control, and session manager. And under session manager, if there is a subkey called AppCert DLLs, which contains values with paths to the DLLs, so all these DLLs will get loaded into a newly created processes. Okay. But those DLLs cannot be like any other DLL. It has to be properly written. So let's go to our course materials, 0 to admin, AppCert, and let's take a look at the source code. So this DLL has to have a create process notify function, which is actually exported. Okay. And because that function is being called when the create process or one of those calls, one of those functions gets called, then AppCert DLL key is read from the registry, and the path to the DLL is extracted, and this DLL is loaded into the process, a new process, and this call is it gets called. Okay, so it has to be in our DLL. And what it actually does, it calls go function, okay, with the application name. So when the create process notify is called, and the first parameter of that function is actually the path to the process that this DLL will get injected into or loaded into. Okay. So I'm passing that path to a go function, and what I'm just doing here as an example code, I want to show you that you can actually filter, so to speak, specific processes you want to execute your shellcode in. So again, we go to our create process notify function gets called, okay? And then we do a comparison if this application is the same as what we are interested in. So the target is defined here as cmd.exe, and if it matches, then our go go function gets executed, which will actually print something on a debug view, just a simple string message. And if it's not the case, then it will return empty status back to the system. So this is like a simple way you can filter that you will run your code inside specific process and not on every process. So let's compile that. Actually, let's run that as an administrator, because we will have to set registry keys. So we go to RTO, pers 02 AppCert, and we run compile. Okay. So the next step we do is we set up we need to set up the registry key. So as I said, we go to local machine, system, current control set, session manager, AppCert DLLs, and we create some value, like for example AppCert. You can specify other name. It's up to you. And it should contain the path to our DLL. Actually, it should be 6 DLL, right? And that should be it. So let's reboot the machine to make this new setting be applied. And let's see what happens next. So now we log on. So let's see how many processes has loaded our DLL into their address space. So to do that, let's just search for AppCert DLL. So for example, cmd explorer.exe, let's see the explorer. So modules, and here's our AppCert DLL, okay. Ruby, which is actually should be running as system as far as I remember. Oh, it's here. Is it? Yeah, it's running as system. And the module is also loaded here. Yep. So that's how you can inject your DLL into various processes. So let's start a debug view and see what happens when I run cmd. So as you can see, it gets so our function. Let me show you here. Our function got called because that if statement was true, and that actually function got executed. So if you want to weaponize that, you will change that into some like decrypting your payload and injecting it somewhere or something like that. Okay. Keep in mind one thing, that if you this technique doesn't work reliably against GUI applications. So let's start Notepad, for example, and see if it get injected, and it didn't. Okay, so for some reason, AppCert DLLs does not get injected into the GUI applications. So for example, if you are targeting browser or Outlook.exe, that might not work. Okay. And finally, let's clean up. And it's obvious, it's because we need to be local admin. So we delete that, and now we need to reboot the machine. So that is how you can persist on the machine using AppCert DLLs.